Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Listen, there's a lot of talk going around in the XRP community with XRP Fi right around the corner with Flare Network. There's a lot of this information going around about borrowing against your XRP, not selling the XRP. Is that a good idea? Is that a good strategy not to sell your XRP and borrow against it? And if you do decide to borrow against your XRP, are you going to go the traditional financial route through like a wealth manager or a family office? Or are you going to use DeFi? We're going to get into that today. I'm going to make my argument for whether or not one should borrow against or sell their XRP. And also, should I go the TradFi route or the DeFi route? I'll give you my recommendations of what I think you should do, but it certainly is up to you, what you ultimately decide to do. Happy Talk That Talk Thursday to each and every one of you. What an exciting time to be an early adopter in this new asset class that is a digital asset space. Again, happy Talk That Talk Thursday to each and every one of you. Look, the market is doing what the market does. I'm going to go over to CoinGecko and refresh the numbers. The Bitcoin dominance playing little games on us right now. We need the Bitcoin dominance to be trending in the right direction and Ethereum versus BTC to be trending in the right direction as well. We need this fifth week of dominance, Bitcoin dominance going trending down for us to be officially in the alt season. So we got today and tomorrow to see what those numbers look like. I'm going to see if I can find the right chart that my guy, please remind me, Virtual Bacon talked about in this YouTube channel. Please remind me to try and find that freaking chart. I'm gonna try. I'm not a big trading view guy. I should learn more trading skills. Maybe that's a bear market to-do list. So let's see if we can do that and see. We got 2 days, Thursday and Friday. The dominance has to keep playing in the right direction. Or ETH BTC right direction as well. Has to continue to win versus BTC to be officially in this alt season. So we'll see how that goes. What's going on, Mr. XRP All In? How are you? I'm doing outstanding, bro. Hope you're doing well. Let's talk that talk Thursday. Should you sell your XRP or borrow against it? And if you decide to borrow against it, are you going to the TradFi route or are you going the DeFi route? I'll kind of discover, or we'll talk about the pros and cons, I guess, for each with a little help from ChatGPT. I'll share what I think without question is the best route, but to each his own, I think. I'm going to get into that as well. I'm going to refresh CoinGecko. I was looking over at virtuals. I made I bought into a token at the high, thinking it was going to go higher, and yeah, it's down 50%. In any case, all right. So I'm going to refresh here and on CoinGecko, get the latest and greatest. I mean, like 10, 15 minutes ago, Bitcoin was at 118,000. Goodness gracious, it could be 113. It could easily be 113 right now. So, Mr. XRP All In. So, listen. Oh, by the way, how about them boys? How them boys looking? But them boys looking pretty good this year for NFL. They look this season. They're looking kind of good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this season for once in, I don't know, 10 years. Looking forward to them New York football Giants this season. NFC East going to be tough, bro. NFC East is going to be tough, my guy. Mr. XRP All In said, I'm great working my butt off, my bro. I hear you, guy. I hear you, bro. I hear you. So listen, we're going to get into this. Why does this seem like it's a little off here? Okay, let's do this. Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good, bro. We're looking good. It's on paper is looking good. Let's see how it comes together, man. Cowboys gonna not gonna be no slouches this year. Maybe the Redskins get that, I don't know, that second year thing with the rookie quarterback, a little slump. Maybe we get that. Then there's always the Eagles, just always just there, So it's gonna be interesting to see for sure how it's gonna play out. I'm looking forward to it though. I think you're gonna see some good offense finally, and I think our boys on the defensive line, I think they're gonna get after the QB a little bit, man. We've been missing that. But in any case, let me go over CoinGecko real quick. People are like, dude, is this a crypto channel? What we got? Football? What's going on right now? It's Talk That Talk Thursday. By the way, new people to the stream. On Talk That Talk Thursday, we talk we can talk crypto, but we will most likely be on some political front, maybe talking about what's going on with the former president of the United States and the current president, trying to bring him in for some questioning. The freaking Epstein files. Is Tulsi Gabbard safe? We might do a little something like that on Talk That Talk Thursday, just for the new people who might not know this is what we do on Thursdays. Let me go over to CoinGecko. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this borrowing, should you borrow or you sell, this is a traditional finance type of deal, but and I was going to do it yesterday on Generational Wealth Wednesdays that we have on the channel. But I didn't get a chance to do the live stream, so I'm going to talk about that today. But it's important to start planning for what we're going to do. I mean, start planning for that. I could have sworn Solana was just over $200 like 8 hours ago. Now it's at 188. Like, what? This market is cray cray. All right, so let's go over the market real quick. According to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap is under 4 trillion. Okay, it's down 3.4% in the last 24 hours. And the live up to date Bitcoin dominance is 61%. We have not left 60%. That is not an altcoin market. It does not make for an altcoin market if we don't have this below 60%. So just so you know, Bitcoin is still the king. Bitcoin is trading at $119,000. I mean, goodness gracious. On a 30-day, Bitcoin is up 12.5%. Ethereum is trading at $3,700. And on the 30-day, Ethereum is up 53%. I got some Ethereum the other day. I'm going to take advantage of that 10 to 15K. We'll see how it goes. XRP is trading at $3.22 again. On the 30-day, Ethereum is actually outpacing XRP. Interesting. XRP on the 30-day is up 46.6%. Solana is trading at $188 again. On the 30-day, Solana is up 30%. It's hard to sneeze at those numbers on the 30-day. In a month? Yeah. All right. So Dogecoin is trading at 23 cents. It's up 45% on the 30-day. Interesting. And so we is trading at $3.83. And on the 30 days, up 38.5%. So that's the market, fam. And the market is just simply doing what the market does. That is the market is just doing what it does. Going to get back into this conversation about whether or not we should borrow against our XRP or sell our XRP when moon, end of the cycle. End of the cycle is what? 2026 sometime. First or second quarter is looking like. Are we borrowing or are we selling XRP? Borrowing against that XRP we're selling. Me personally, I love the option of being able to borrow against the XRP. I love the idea of being able to be in DeFi with XRP, creating cash flow, right? That doesn't mean you don't, take some profits in Bitcoin and stable coins. Obviously, you do along the way. You definitely want to do that. I would definitely think. But are you borrowing against it or selling it? Right? Are you going to borrow against it? Well, in order to borrow against your XRP, right? Let's think about this for a second. In order to borrow against it, you have to have a realized profit. Are you going to borrow against it on its way to $12? On its way to $12, are you going to borrow against it then? Are you going to borrow against it then? And how do you prepare for the pullback? If you borrow against it on its way to 12, let's say you borrow at 6, it goes up to 10, maybe, I don't know. Maybe even goes higher. I don't know. I still have my range of 12 to 26. So let's say it goes up to 12. You borrow at 10. You're borrowing at 10. What are you going to do in the bear market? How are you going to deal with that loan? Are you familiar? Are you comfortable? You know how you're going to do it? And are you going to go the TradFi route or the DeFi route? Those are the questions. So, first, what I'm going to do is ask of the audience, people hanging out today with the Crypto Siege, and let me know in the comments if you do the replay. Are you going to sell your XRP into stables or Bitcoin? Or so, in other words, are you going to sell or are you going to borrow against your XRP? Let me know in the comments here. Someone said it'd be best to borrow against it. Yep. Joe Buddy says, my plan has me selling, buying back during the bear market, in parentheses, if the bear market arrives, and then borrowing off that second round. Okay. So you're going to sell at the end of the cycle. Right, Joe? Sell at the end of the cycle. Are you selling into stables or Bitcoin? Stables or Bitcoin? And Joe, and then you're going to buy back the XRP in the bear market if it happens, right? Oh, the second bull run. Okay, so the second round of the bull run, the up and coming bull run. I got you. Not this bull run, but after we have a bear, if it arrives, the other bull run. I got you. I got you. In the stables or in the Bitcoin? Joe, are you selling into stables or into Bitcoin? Let me know. Let me know. All right. So, Leah, let me know in the chat. So you check on, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. That'd be really, really awesome. And if you dare, let me know in the chat. If you dare, check in on the live stream. Are you going to be selling your XRP? Whatever percentage. We know we're not going to all sell all our XRP. Are you going to sell or are you going to borrow against? So are you going to sell or are you going to borrow against? I know for me, with XRP, because of, you know, it's no longer six figures of XRP like I used to have. My plan is going to sell into Bitcoin and sell into stables a certain percentage. Selling into Bitcoin, selling into stables, certain percentage, and then buy back in the bear because I fully expect a bear market without questions. That's my plan. And that's my plan uh, to do. The borrowing against idea for me is a bull thing uh, and not a bear thing with the asset high. I think there's different strategies. And for me, borrowing against is a bear cycle thing, not a bull cycle thing. But that is also because I participate in DeFi, not TradFi. So, all right. So we got Brother Crypto. The question we ask is, are you going to sell your XRP or are you going to borrow against it? And if you sell, are you going to sell it into Bitcoin or stables? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. What's going on, Ali Mani? How are you, my friend? I saw all of your videos from Iran. Oh, really? How about that? I appreciate you checking in, bro. Welcome to the stream, guys. Do me a favor and welcome Ali Mani to the live stream. B. Johnson says, I plan on selling into stable coins, buying more Bitcoin and XRP in the bear. Strong, 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 B. Johnson 2000. Strong. Uh, Brother Crypto says, I'm going to use mine as liquidity and make money. So what does that mean? You're not selling your XRP, Brother Crypto? You're not selling? You're not taking profit. Does that mean you're not selling? So those are the questions. Those are the questions. And the other question is TradFi or DeFi for those people who are borrowing. Are you borrowing? Like my guy here says he's going to do some stuff with Jake Claver and the wealth manager, or are you going the DeFi route? Going TradFi or DeFi? Now I've done both. You guys know that on the channel. I've done the TradFi route and I've done the DeFi route. But I'd love to hear what you guys think because I think it's important to have this discussion. Maybe perhaps think about the pros and the cons. What's up, Keyless? The lady of crypto checked in this morning. How are you? Or this afternoon, I should say. Yeah, how are you? Well, what I'm going to be doing for the XRP during this thing, I still think $12 to $26. I'm going to be selling into Bitcoin during the cycle, selling into Bitcoin, turning some of those Bitcoin into stable coins, and in the bear buying. It's looking like I'm going to be buying XRP and putting it in the Mag 7. This is what it's looking like. It's in the 90% bucket. But I'm talking about the Mag 7 along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Looks like I'm going to be doing that. It's going to be a Mag 7. It's looking like to me. So, Keyless, the question we're asking is, are you going to sell your XRP? And if you sell it, are you selling it into the stables, Bitcoin, or a combination thereof? Or are you not selling and you're just borrowing against it at some point? Maybe it hits $6, maybe it hits $4, maybe it hits $8, maybe it hits $10, and you're going to borrow against the XRP. Now, that's a bear strategy. A bull strategy in my view. Besides curve, Keyless? What do what do you mean besides curve? Keyless says, what are some good ETH pools, CJ, besides curve? What do you mean besides curve? Curve, talking about they deal with stable coins, right? Yeah, there's a lot of great ETH pools to get into. There's great ETH pools on Player. But you can go to vfat.io, check that out, or you can just, hop on Aerodrome, perhaps even Revert. Right? Um, oh, you guys got some great answers here. B. Johnson says, I'm selling it at the stable, buying more Bitcoin XRP in the bear. I like it, bro. I like it. I like it. I like it. Uh, Brother Crypto, depends on where we are, where we get price wise. I mean, with the DeFi options coming, I can make a good amount and flip the rewards into Max 7. Again, my sell or not depends on what the market does. Have to be agile. Yeah, I hear you. Joe Buddy says best to borrow during the deep bear market when it arrives, right? So when you're in the bear, in the depths of the bear, right? In the depths, you don't have to worry so much, right? About it going down because it's in the depths of the bear, right? So, when you get the 80, 85%, 90, 95% retracement in the bear, for me, that's a better time, right? Because I don't have to worry about it going down further, right? And yes, it's less value. Yes, it's less value. The asset is less value. But when you borrow, okay, you don't have to worry about it going in the wrong direction, right? Because you're in the depths of the bear, right? And and we all can check, right? 85% from all-time high. We can check it, right? It's the numbers are going to be the numbers. 95% from the all-time high, right? The numbers are going to be the numbers. So you have it, and you'll be able to do it, right? So that's one thing, right? Lending and borrowing against in the bull, right? There's a strategy to that, right? And then there's lending and borrowing in the bear, and there's a strategy for that as well, right? There's a strategy for that as well. So I like in the bull runs, I like to lend assets, borrow stables. In the bear, talking about DeFi now, because my thing is DeFi. In the bear market, I lend stables and I borrow assets because it's a strategy to borrowing assets in a bear market. There's a strategy to that. All right. So that's a higher level thing. All right. So now the $64 trillion question. Somebody's already answered it once. Tradfi DeFi, keyless. Tradfi DeFi for borrowing. I'm hoping to stake XRP and get rewards, CJ, says Keyless. I have already taken profits and I could kick myself. LOL. Oh, no, no words. Taking profits, taking profit. My cost basis is 20 something cents. I mean, taking profit is taking profit. You won. Yeah, you won. B. Johnson says, I don't have a strategy for borrowing, still searching. Right now, I plan to participate in DeFi on Flare and keep earning regardless of the market. Yep, I hear that. Nice. B. Johnson, I love it. Brother Crypto says XRP is no longer my largest altcoin play in this game, Flares. Yeah. Well, because of my Celsius situation, that's the same for me as well. Keela says, I'm in wrapped ETH, uni ETH pools right now in Curve. I'll check those out. Just wondering if you had one that you thought was great. I like Aerodrome, and VFAT is a little more, whatever. But I like the pools on Aerodrome. Um, base chain, base fees, fast, works, UI, UX. So aerodrome.fi. Make sure it's the base one and not the BNB one. Make sure it's the base one. Keela says, I don't have the stomach for borrowing. Interesting. All right. So Brother Crypto says DeFi. All right. So we're going to, for those of you who decided to borrow, are you doing the TradFi or DeFi? Someone said they were going to be doing some work with Jake Claver. All right. That's TradFi. Okay. Let me go over to my conversation, let me find it first. Stop that. Let me do this. All right, let me do that. Let me find the chat GPT conversation that I had. Okay. You know how chat GPT gives you some stuff. All right. I'm just going to go to my part where I asked the question and we'll go through it together. All right, there it is. Let me share screen now that I found it. I need to stop typing with ChatGPT also. You can use the voice thing. And I just keep forgetting to do so. I'm getting chilly. I'm going to put my jacket on, man. I'm getting cold up in this joint. All right, so here's the question. Any thoughts on borrowing against your XRP with a TradFi company, Slant Wealth Manager, versus using DeFi? Here's the clean way to think about borrowing against XRP, says ChatGPT. For a TradFi wealth manager, Slant private bank versus through DeFi, like FXRP on Flare, WXRP on the XRPL EVM. Okay. All right. Miss Crypto C said, you look so good in that blue. So I thought I'd share it, but I'm getting chilly. Getting chilly out this joint. What the world? All right. So, all right. So snapshot comparison, Keyless. Dimension, TradFi lender, Slant wealth manager, DeFi. So, got the three things: the dimension, access, KYC, custody of XRP, LTV, interest rate, fees and frictions, liquidation. Oh my gosh, just a bunch of stuff. Rehypothecation risk, regulatory taxes and docs, flexibility and speed, transparency of risk. Okay, some good stuff to kind of use as your benchmarks. Okay, so access KYC. In other words, being able to get into a loan versus having the KYC, jump through some hoops, go to an interview process. Hopefully the interviewer is in a good mood. That kind of stuff, right? All right. All right. So access KYC, Tradfi or wealth manager, full KYC and AML, a credit check, signed loan documents. Okay. DeFi, permissionless. Your wallet equals identity. No credit check, no interview. Okay. You should have added the no interview in that. Okay. Now, custody of the XRP. Custody of XRP. With the Tradfi Wealth Manager, you will likely transfer your XRP to their qualified custodian. Let's understand that. You'll likely transfer your XRP to their qualified custodian if you use a Tradfi Wealth Manager. Pledge it under a control agreement. Okay. In DeFi, like on Aave or Radiant or Kinetic, SparkDex on Flare. I don't know if they do loan, but Kinetic does. You self custody your XRP. You can lock or wrap it, XRP for XRP, into a smart contract vault. Okay. Some people are going to say about the smart contract risk, right? Some people, we're going to get into that. Loan to value. In the Tradfi, the wealth manager, it's usually 25 to 50%. If you have $100,000 worth of XRP, you can borrow up to 50,000. Typical for volatile crypto, XRP usually on the low. XRP is usually on the lower end, so closer to the 25%. In DeFi, it's 30 to 50% is common, and is hard coded into the protocol risk parameters. Interest rates in TradFi often are fixed or floating points plus a spread. Yowzers, 6 to 10% right now, negotiable with size. In DeFi, variable, algorithmic, 2 to 8% for stables, and can spike if utilization surges. Another thing I will say about this interest rate stuff, I don't know if it's going to cover it. Doesn't look likely. First of all, you got to really find out what the real interest rate is whenever you're getting into a loan situation. The real interest rate. And also, if this is an amortization loan from TradFi, in other words, it's scheduled payments. Okay, it's scheduled payments there. You gotta understand that as well. And in DeFi, my experience is there are no like 12 month, 24, 36 months deal. You just kind of do what it is you do. You pay it off when you're ready to pay it off. Okay. Fees and friction. Origination fee for TradFi, legal, custodial, audit fees, minimum ticket sizes as well. Often it's $250,000 plus. I can't remember. I watched the thing with Jay Claver. I can't remember if his was, maybe it was 250. I don't want to misquote it. You guys probably know, like a minimum, right? A minimum in value, right? 250,000. So just understand that as well. Not a fan of that personally. All right, DeFi, gas fees, sometimes protocol fees, tiny ticket fines. Liquidation process. For TradFi, manual margin calls, grace periods, humans involved. This is ChatGPT. I just want you to understand it. Manual margin call, grace periods, slant, humans are involved. You can negotiate. Okay. DeFi, instant and automatic. Once collateral ratio is breached, the bots liquidate you in seconds. Okay. Remember this one because ChatGPT is just laying out how it is. Whether this is a pro or a con is really up to the individual. Um, Again, I have my experience, and then people have to have their own. Rehypothecation risk with TradFi is high unless in the documentation forbids it. They may lend or hedge your XRP. In DeFi, protocols can't rehypothecate. Smart contract risk replaces custodial risk. The smart contract risk replaces custodial risk. I would argue that custodial risk is greater than smart contract risk. Regulatory tax docs, 1099s. Okay. 1099s when you're doing that thing there, right? TradFi. No tax doc, still non-taxable loan, but you must track it yourself. Okay. Flexibility and speed. TradFi is slower to set up, good for large long-term debt. $1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. And it's long-term asset. You plan on holding it for the rest of your life, right? That type of deal. DeFi, instant draw slant repay. Great for short-term liquidity or tactical leverage. Yep, love that. Transparency of risk. TradFi, legalese plus counterparty credit risk. I think this is probably the biggest risk. That counterparty risk is probably the biggest risk. DeFi, open source code, transparent collateralization, and utilization metrics. Tells you, ChatGPT says when it believes TradFi wins. Big ticket and long duration. You want 250,000 to 500 million at a fixed rate for 3 to 5 years. Estate planning, non-recourse loans against crypto can let you access cash without realizing capital gains and potentially be given at death. So that's for DeFi though as well. It's not just TradFi. You value human grace periods. A phone call beats a liquidation bot at 3 a.m. Okay. Compliant comfort. Your CPA and attorney prefer audited statements, 1099s, and a clean paper trail. All right. So questions to grill them on. Who owes my XRP and can you rehypothecate it? Is the loan recourse or non-recourse? What are the exact loan to value triggers plus cure periods for margin calls? Know the fees for sure. The fees, origination, maintenance, custody. Prepayment penalties, you got to find out about that as well. Rate reset language. In other words, you're probably going to have your attorney look over those docs to make sure you're not being hoodwinked and bamboozled because the devil is in the details in TradFi paperwork. How fast can I withdraw and redeem? Minutes, days, weeks. That's a big ding, ding, ding there. You got to know it. When DeFi wins, speed and granularity. You need $3,000 for a week? You can do that. You keep the keys. I'm alarmed that the amount of people who just get on Twitter and X and in YouTube channels, they say that over and over and over again. And they turn around and borrow against their assets with the TradFi player. Again, if there wasn't so many of the not your keys, not your crypto thing, fine. But the fact that it is such an alarming rate of that statement, just over and over and over and over and over again, and then immediately argue, well, it's just safer with the TradFi people. How do they go together? Either stop saying not your keys, not your crypto. So anyway. So you keep your keys in DeFi. No counterparty can freeze or misplace your XRP, aside from smart contract bugs. Yield stacking and composability. These are things when DeFi wins. On Flare, you might take that FXRP to stake, borrow some stable coins, and farm them all in one flow. This is from ChatGPT, by the way. We've been having some awesome conversation, apparently, he remembers. Transparency. You see the pool health, the interest curves, and collateral factors in real time. Transparency it's so underrated. I just think people don't quite understand. Remember, Celsius Network. Let me go to the chat here real quick. Celsius Network was the largest holder of Bitcoin in the history of Bitcoin. That had more than TradFi, these VC firms, or hedge funds. The largest holder back when it was not a big deal to hold. Remember, they lost 57, nearly 58,000 BTC in just one thing with one agreement with Tether. They had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Just remember that. But in transparency, in TradFi, it's hard to get that transparency of what's going on behind the hood, behind closed doors. It's hard to get that. And anybody can put up a proof of reserves. Anybody can put the proof of reserves up. But what are the people in that company doing? We're going to get to my guy, Jake. And I'm not trying to pick on Jake, right? Or anyone trying to make money for sure. But I'm going to share a clip that it's off. What he's saying is a little off to me. All right. Any new people? Iman checked in. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you checking in, sir. B. Johnson says, why would I borrow from TradFi? I'm the bank now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how I think. You and I are right here, bro. Joe Buddy says, when DeFi has insurance, protections, and the rules and laws are clear, then I would consider it. It has to be in full motion. I refuse to get burned. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Alex G checked in. What's going on, Alex G? How are you, bro? Keela's like, I don't have the stomach for that barn stuff. I hear you. Rick Cisneros is in the building. How are you, bro? Iman, we are the banks. Yes, sir. Rick Cisneros says, remember, CJ, you're on Grok 3 has crazy. What? You're on Grok 3. I'm on ChatGPT, bro. Has crazy. How does this sound? Grok 4 will give better answers. Yeah, Grok 4. I didn't check out Grok 4 yet. I'm only on I'm using ChatGPT and I have Grok 3. Um Grok 4 is going to give better answers. I heard it was good. Orders of magnitude better, really. And more precise. I'm going to upgrade to Grok 4. Knowledge and speed is power. Yes, sir. Indeed. Indeed it is. So that transparency thing, like it's a big deal. You don't know what's going on behind the corners. And like my mentor always said, and actually said to me, everything is good until it ain't. Everything is good until it is not. So do I think borrowing against your XRP is smart? I do. If you know what you're doing, especially if you know what you're doing. A lot of people are just like they're comfortable with a loan, an interest rate, a payment due date, and some entity. Like they're comfortable with that. Like it's a comfort to that. They don't know the risk like we know the risk here, right? This is a different asset class, right? And it's a TradFi world where you're talking about fiat, right? You know what it is. In crypto, with an asset that's up and down and volatility, you don't necessarily know. In my view, there's more risk to TradFi than DeFi. There's more counterparty risk. There's less transparency, and there's less flexibility. What I've learned more and more and starting to believe is until we get to removing the state from crypto, we're going to always be beholden to the state. I'm going to share this clip with Jake. And again, this is not about Jake and the people that he's dealing with at that family office. But, right, this is a guy in business, whatever, trying to make a living. So this is not about Jake. But I just want to point out some flaws in this statement and thinking. Brother Crypto says, DeFi allows me to do what Tradfi does, provide liquidity and make my money myself. Indeed. That's what I say. So let me share this clip real quick, right? The guy is asking a question, right? And again, this is not about Jake. I'm sure Jake's a good guy. I just think that there's some levels of stuff that he is not aware of. All right, so let me share it here. Says, did you know you can get liquidity from your XRP without selling? All right, so I just want you to take a listen to this guy's questioning, because the guy, in my view, is setting him up. This whole interview really was a bunch of setup questions if you watch the whole interview. So anyway, just take a listen.
Like on a home, a HELOC will usually go 60, 80%, depending. What's the most you can bank on it?
XRP today, we can get somewhere between 50 and 60% LTV.
So if I got 12 mil, I can borrow 6. And if it drops down to 4, they call it.
But you get the option to buy it back first.
Why can't I just tell them wait? It'll go back up.
Well, that's why you get 7 days. So DeFi protocol just liquidates you. You get a lot of protections the way that we structure it versus what you would if you just put it in Aave or Compound or some of this DeFi stuff that's out there. We have tri-party agreements with our lenders, and they provide a lot of assurances and benefits. And
I'm gonna write that phrase down. Tri-party agreements. Did he say arrangements? Let me read that again.
tri-party agreements.
Agreements.
With lenders, and they provide a lot of assurances and benefits, and
Which is cool, because they don't really want the asset, do they?
they want their money income, right? Like that's the whole point. They want the private credit. That's a hard money loan basically for them. The interest rate on it right now is somewhere between 10 and 15%. But I think as we see the appreciation and people are able to underwrite the risk, you'll get a higher LTV with a lower interest rate.
Okay, so that's our guy Jake. Again, I don't know him. He's a wealth manager at the family office here. I thought it was like his family office, but in any case, building wealth beyond limits, sharing insights on finance, legacy, and breaking the broke mindset. So a couple of things there. That's the tri-party agreement. Well, let me go here. I'll do this first. Let me stop the share. So, right. So lenders are beholden to the state, right? You got some banks, lenders, private lenders, it doesn't matter. They're beholden to the state. What the state says, oh, was it too low? Oh, man. All right, let me play that again. Looking good. Doing it, say it in here. All right, I forgot to do my share. Let me do it again. I forgot to share the right way again. Okay. All right. I'm going to let you guys listen to this. Again, appreciate you guys letting me know. All right, let's try that again. Let's go back. Let's refresh.
A HELOC will use, what's the, like on a home, a HELOC will usually go 60, 80%, depending. What's the most you can bank on?
XRP today, we can get somewhere between 50 and 60% LTV.
So if I got 12 mil, I can borrow 6.
Yeah.
And if it drops down to 4, they call it.
But you get the option to buy it back first.
Why can't I just tell them wait? It'll go back up.
Well, that's why you get 7 days. So DeFi protocol just liquidates you. You get a lot of protections the way that we structure it versus what you would if you just put it in Aave or Compound or some of this DeFi stuff that's out there. We have tri-party agreements with our lenders, and they provide a lot of assurances and benefits, and
which is cool because they don't really want the asset, dude. They want their money
income, right? Like that's the whole point. They want the private credit. That's a hard money loan basically for them. The interest rate on it right now is somewhere between 10 and 15%. But I think as we see the appreciation and people are able to underwrite the risk, you'll get a higher LTV with a lower interest rate.
Okay. All righty. So you guys got to hear that. Now, look, again, this is not having nothing to do with Jake. Um, I'm sure he's a smart guy and a nice guy and all that stuff like that. I've never met him, but and it's not out to do harm, but I'm sure. But I don't think he understands. I don't think he quite. Thank you, Keyless. I appreciate that. Says the sound. Yeah, I had to share with sound instead of just sharing. Um, Vaughn, what's going on, bro? Vaughn, let us know real quick. Yeah, what's your XRP? Are you going to borrow or sell it? Some of both. If you do sell, are you selling in the Bitcoin or stables? We just want to take a little poll. And if you do borrow, are you borrowing with TradFi or are you borrowing with DeFi? Rick Cisneros says in Firelight they're going to have different risk models in the different vault systems. That is what make Firelight ISO good. So good. AI is going to drive the risk. You decide how much risk you want. New ETF. Yeah, I think the vaults and people are not going to quite understand what Firelight is going to be bringing for XRP holders. I don't think they quite understand it. So just in reference to this clip, I'm gonna say it again. This is not about Jake. I don't know Jake. Um, so it's not about him, but I just think he doesn't like he doesn't understand, right? So, or anyone in TradFi don't understand, right? So you could talk to bankers and they don't know stuff that people in the digital asset space know about the banking system. Did you know that? You can talk to a bank manager, right? And you can talk to them about stuff going on in the banking industry and that they don't know. That is a fact. Okay, just understand. So the state and these lenders are beholden to the states, right? You have to understand that what the state says goes. What the state says goes. Okay, just understand that. So a tri-party agreement with the lender, it doesn't mean anything if the state changes it, and the state can change it. Let me give you an example. He said, that's why you have 7 days, right? Well, what if they change it to 5 days? Or what if they change it to 3 days? Right? And what I mean by they, I mean the particular wealth management people you're working with or the state. Now, why would the state change it? Because the Banking Association told them to. We want to be able to liquidate these things sooner. So the lenders are beholden to the state, right? They're beholden to the state. Here's the other thing. You don't know what you don't know. This is my challenge with TradFi. Is every good intentioned thing out there can run into trouble. But you won't know that they've run into trouble. Listen to me. You won't know that they've run into trouble. The success rates of businesses in America is horrible. It's horrible. Less than 7%, less than 3%. It's a crazy number. So again, you don't know when they run into trouble. You will not know. Just ask the people at Link 2. No one knew. Well, let's put that, only a few knew, but you didn't know. You don't know. All right. Now he said, that's why we give you 7 days. It's not like in these DeFi things like Aave and some of this DeFi stuff that just liquidate you. But you know, though, you know how Aave's doing. It's a smart contract. You know the borrow and the borrow against and the lent. You know it. You know the numbers. You know what's going, whether there it's quote unquote in trouble. You know, right? One of those parameters there for context from ChatGPT was accessibility. Was not just access to be able to get something. What if they say XRP is no longer the valuable asset and you can't borrow against it? Tradfi can say that. Did you know that? Tradfi can say, nope, we're only doing BTC. What are you going to do? Because they can do that. They can, it's only Tradfi, only BTC. By the way, they can do that. But in any case, the access is also not about having to just jump through some hoops to get a loan. Okay. Because you still got a KYC. You still have to meet with someone. You think you can just say, here's my wallet. See, look what's in it, and that's it. No, not in TradFi. You can't do that. But also, if some swan event happens, if some swan event happens at 6 o'clock Eastern time, what are you going to do with TradFi? Wait until the following morning? What are you going to do? Maybe there's an app. Most likely there's an app. But if that app requires interaction with the bank that you have linked to it, what are you going to do? I asked a question to Jake. He hasn't responded. The question was in reference to meet and liquidation. Can you meet liquidation needs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? He didn't, maybe he's busy. He didn't respond. Maybe he didn't see it. But, right? Can you meet your liquidation needs 24/7? Iman says that is a fact. Iman says, what about Enron? The current bank's failures. No one knew. No one knew. Ray.4. Soyokaze is in the house. Soyokaze. Ray.4 says Jake's quarter payout was 40 basis points. That was a bad look, in my opinion. Yeah, so this 50%, 50 to 60% LTV, 60% TradFi. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the right or the wrong of that. I don't know. I think it's like 25 to 50% in that range. But there's also minimum required as well. You know, it's a wealth management thing, obviously. So it's a family house, rather, family office. So, you know, it's the bigger money there for that as well. But trying to throw shade at DeFi, first of all, you can set up in DeFi auto repays to meet liquidation. In DeFi, you can do that, especially with the blue chippers. You can set up an auto repay. Yeah, you can do that. But there's also strategies, right? You can always, in addition to the loan that the lent asset and what you're borrowing, you can always leave, extra money on the lent side, right? That's available for you to access right away, that if to meet liquidation. But you can set up. Let me share. Let me find out with Chat GPT because I asked that question. Uh, 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 um, I asked this question of ChatGPT. I'm gonna share this with you guys as well. I said, um, well, first I asked this 24/7 thing. I said, don't you think there's an advantage to a 24/7, 24-hour, 7-day a week DeFi protocol, for example, to meet any liquidation calls? ChatGPT says, absolutely. 24/7 automation is one of DeFi's biggest strategic advantage if you build the right safety rails around it. Correct. Why round the clock DeFi can actually help you avoid liquidations. Instant top ups. I just learned of a Tradfi platform, very popular, successful, Dan Tapiero's deal, that is now offering instant top ups or kind of like instant or programmable top ups for Tradfi. That's really, really good. So anyway, but it's only BTC. All right. So talks about some advantages, programmatic alerts, on-chain oracles feed LTV data every few seconds. You can pipe those into Telegram, Discord, or any auto repay script. Yep. Flash loan rescues. Advanced users can execute a one transaction refi, borrow stables, repay loans. Okay. No weekend risk. And TradFi/CFI, a Friday night margin call can't clear until Monday. And DeFi, you can cure the position on Saturday at 2 a.m. Yeah, great. All that stuff. So it tells you how to maximize that advantage. Automation slant bot layer. DeFi Saver for Aave and Compound, or InstaDApp automation, auto repay, or auto boost at a target LTV. So you can set that up with DeFi Saver or something called InstaDApp automation. I've never done it. Gelato slant Keeper 3. I don't know about this Keeper 3 jobs on Flare. I don't know what that's going on right there with Gelato and Flare. Low utilization buffer. Borrow at 25 to 30% LTV, even protocol. All right, I recommend up to 40%, no more than 40, kind of is what I do. Stable collateral mix. Right, awesome. So that's just kind of the counter argument to watch. Bot wars, gas, and stuff like that. Yeah. Use protocols with base fee smoothing like Flare, Solana. Smart contract exploits, diversify across lending markets, right? I'm in, I don't know how many lending markets, at least 4. TLDR, 24/7 DeFi protocol is a liquidation risk if you ignore it. With auto repay bots, wide LTV buffers, and always open markets, you can actually reduce margin call anxiety compared to TradFi, where desks close at 5 p.m. and surprises wait for Monday. So my point to this is you can do setup auto repay and on places like Aave and Compound, et cetera, et cetera. It says here protocols with built-in or officially integrated auto repay tools. The key to this is how sophisticated do you have to be to set that up, right? I don't know. Is it a button here that does it? I'm going to look at my Aave loan here in a second. I'll share that with you guys on one of my wallets. But yeah, so that's the key. Again, I don't know. I've never done auto repay, but you can do it. Ethereum L2s with Maker, Spark Protocol via Summer, Spark Protocol. I was just reading up on them too the other day. Summer.fi automation, auto repay, take profits, stop loss on your Vault/Smart Burn engine. Use your collateral or a flash loan to pay back debt when a price LTV triggers. The simplest thing for me, I've never done the repay thing, is I just like I did with Celsius, is you leave stuff, extra stuff on there, okay? As long as the app's working. But anyway, in DeFi, you can just leave it there and then you can access it. But this is saying that you can leave that profit there in stables, your collateral, extra stables. You can leave it there and it can auto repay it for you. I just leave it there and then I just hop on, right? You can get notifications and for your liquidation numbers, and then you just hop on and repay. So it says here, MakerDAO on Ethereum L2s, Aave via DeFi Saver automation, but just quote unquote recipes. Again, I don't know if you have to be some kind of skilled at doing something in some code or anything like that. I don't know, but we'll look at one. It says it here, it has it on different places. Now, Solana, Camino lending, auto rebalancing. I remember seeing that LTV protection, partial repay, and yield strategies. I like lending and borrowing on Camino, I can tell you that. And Solana, Margin Fi is the Guardian is in beta for alerts and auto deleverage, but that's in beta on Margin Fi. I like Margin Fi. I don't do a lot. I do lend and borrow there, but it's small. Solana is bigger. I like Camino. I mean, Camino is bigger. I like Camino. But so just so you know, it's out there for that. So the whole notion of these bots just liquidated you is not correct. It's not factual. So that's not true. All right. How to actually set this up on Aave tells you how to do that. I think that's awesome. But I just wanted to share that with you that you can do and set your stuff up for auto. And again, for me, the access and the transparency is really the bigger things. You have to know what's going on behind the hood, so have at least a good idea. Iman, do you use Cyclo, bro? Cyclo is a non-liquidation opportunity. Do you use it? Cyclo, Iman, do you use Cyclo? Yeah, Vol was that was a big disaster, wasn't it, Joe? Ray has a plan. REI.4 has a plan. I'm not doing anything until ETFs go live. And after that, I'm selling 10% and DeFi yield farming. I hear you, bro. Yeah, me too, Iman. Iman says, I tried Cyclo. Apparently, my guys over at Flare Forward have they have like a demo. Flare Forward is really, at least two of the guys I know, well, no, one, I should say at least one. Steve over there is really big on Cyclo. I meant to go check out the learning tutorial because like there's a part of it that I'm missing, right? That I don't quite understand with that with Cyclo in particular. And then there's the other issue of the challenge with the Bifrost wallet. So there's that as well. So, but I do want to learn how to use Cyclo. I really, really do. So just again, this is not about Jake, but oh, you saw the tutorial, but it's still confusing. I hear you. Yeah, I know for sure that I'm gonna have to do more with my Rabby wallet and work more of Rabby because apparently there's some little technical difficulties with Bifrost. So, so that's kind of how I see it, fam. I think borrowing against your assets, not having to liquidate, I think that's an awesome strategy to have in your tool belt. I'm not telling anyone to do that or not do it, but I do think it is an awesome strategy or tool to have in your tool belt. I do it. I really, I like the leverage behind it, for sure. My goal for me personally is to get more Bitcoin. So I'll be leveraging XRP, Bitcoin for XRP, XRP for more Bitcoin, that type of deal like that. But and I'm planning on a bear market, so that's just kind of my deal. So I'm not sure if there exists a world where the markets don't go from bull to bear, right? I'm not sure we live in a world where we just keep having bull markets, right? Not in the SPY, not in the Nasdaq, and not in crypto, right? Even gold has bear markets, right? So I'm not sure we live in a world where we don't have that. So I kind of like B. Johnson's strategy, like, right? You know, Bitcoin is the savings account. For me, all the other assets are investments. And if you have a strategy to keep a certain amount of that Bitcoin in your savings, whatever that number is, take profits in Bitcoin, take profits in assets, buy back, buy back more Bitcoin, get more Bitcoin, even if it's 40 or 50%. Some people say they don't think we're gonna get that traditional 60 or 70% Bitcoin pullback in the bear market. Taking profit is, still taking profit. So that strategy, I'm gonna do a video on kind of that strategy that I'm gonna be doing as well, for sure. I'm still back and forth on how much Bitcoin and how much in stables. Right? I'm certain on the strategy to get to that point, right? Because Ethereum and other assets are going to outpace Bitcoin, right? So, there is a strategy to taking some BTC profits, rotating them into the top 4 or 5, letting those top 4 or 5 do their thing during the heat of the thing, during the heat, right? Taking profit 100%, 200%, 300% into Bitcoin, but it's profit, right? Into Bitcoin, right? Into Bitcoin, whatever that was going to look like, into Bitcoin, taking profit into that. You just had to figure out the percentages. How much XRP are you going to sell into Bitcoin? How much this you're going to sell into this? So that type of deal. If you're interested in accumulating more Bitcoin, some people aren't, right? But that's my strategy to get more Bitcoin for sure. And in the end, I want to leave a certain percentage of XRP, Solana, and SUI for the next cycle. Those 3, hopefully soon, XRP, will be assets that I can participate in DeFi to get more of those assets, right? In the bear cycle, right? Right? Bitcoin, Bitcoin is what it is. Unless you want to wrap and mess around with that, that's not it. And Flare, so my FLR deal is, for me, that's, look, Flare, like for me, right? That's 10% bucket play. For me, it's a 10%. For sure, I'm going to leave a percentage, but I will definitely be trading out of a good portion of that and keeping some for DeFi, for sure, for DeFi. But it's in a 10% bucket, and it's an up and coming chain, right? It's not with a lot of promise, but it's not Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, right? It's not that, right? There's a lot of promise to what it can be, but it's not that yet. So in terms of a proven layer 1, right? I'm talking about a proven layer 1, right? The F assets isn't live yet, right? Right? So it's not live yet. It's coming, but it's not live yet. And when that comes, that's only version 1.1, right? So when it comes to investing or taking profits or whatever that's going to look like, I keep telling people this. I don't know why they don't believe me. Like, look, the FLR token is going to be a more valuable asset in the bear market. It's going to be more valuable, not price wise. It's not going to be cheaper. It's going to be more valuable. There's a difference. The FLR token is going to be more valuable. Why? Because this is going to be going live, and then that's going to be going live, and this is going to be proven out. What's that? How did the redemption and the minting and redeeming go? How well did that work? How well did the collateral work? You understand? When version 2.0 comes, how well did it work? Right? We don't know those answers yet. Right? But hopefully at the end of this cycle, we're going to know. And if those boxes check, what about more projects after Firelight? Who else is coming onto the chain, right? These are questions still. So for me, in a year from now, if all things go well, FLR token, the Flare Layer 1 blockchain is more valuable. It's a more valuable asset. The asset and the chain, the protocol is more valuable, right? So I don't know what it's going to get to this cycle. For me, it doesn't matter. Whatever it gets to, I'm excited. If it gets to $1, awesome. Awesome. But for me, there's no way I'm not selling 90% of that. Like, there's no way. It's 90%. See what happens. Right? It's the same thing with Sui. The same thing with Sui. It's going to be more the asset, the token, is going to be more valuable after Walrus is doing his thing, after Deep Book's doing the thing. In the bear market, they're grinding through it, they're continuing to build, right? That's right. Though that makes the asset more valuable, the underlying asset of the blockchain more valuable. Like a lot of people just thinking about the price. The price is not what makes the asset valuable. You understand? Price is not what makes it more valuable. So, got to look out for that stuff. So, FLR, 10% bucket. Sui, 10% bucket. Andu, 10% bucket. Andu and it's now, they got a little Andu chain, 10% bucket. For me, that's how I see it. 90% bucket, Mag 7s, different things. That Mag 7, though, it's got a, are we going to get a good CAGR from XRP? I mean, 2021, 20, whatever that was, it is what it is. When we're done here with this cycle, what's those numbers going to look like? That CAGR, what is it going to look like? XRP ETFs are coming. What's the CAGR going to look like? We got to find out. But for me, it's right on that borderline of that Mag 7. Is it in the 90% bucket? Sure. Of course it is. Oh, yes. Yes, Joe, you got that right. I'm going to sell 90% of my FLR, maybe 85%, maybe. And I'm going to take profit. Cost basis is around 0.006. Some people are less. Some people are less. I'm going to take profit at, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. Is it going to be, I don't know. Is it going to be 20 cents, 25 cents? I don't know. I don't know what the profit's going to be. Like, I don't know. I'm going to take profit. I'm expecting a bear cycle in a 90 to 98% retracement in the bear. That's what I'm expecting. So you do the math. You do the math on it. But if it gets to $1 and the cost basis is 0.006, 0.006, and I don't even know what that is. What is that? Let's see. Maybe it's, I don't know. Let me check something real quick. How many of you guys think it's getting to $1? How many guys think it's getting to 50 cents? All right, I should share this. All right. Because I got another question. Oop, I don't want to do that. Oh, that was close. All right, let me do this. Share. Yeah. Let me share it, Joe, buddy. All right, so I was doing a little something here. Just keep this numbers here in mind here. I was doing a little Bitcoin price thing, right? Just for an example. Another thing I'm going to share with you guys. But you see that 58%? Just remember those numbers. All right. 119,960 to 190,000 for BTC. Bitcoin. It's a 58% increase, right? Just remember, uh, let me do, yeah, I'll do this. All right, so let's do 0.006. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? How many people thinking it's going to be? I'm going to do. I'm going to do 25 cents. I mean, like, I don't know what the FLR price is going to be. It's 2 cents now, 25 cents. So, like, I don't know what the FLR price is. I really don't know what it's going to be. That's a nearly a 40x. But I don't know, bro. I don't know what price. I have no clue what the FLR price is going to get. But I'll take 39x. I'll take 4,000%. 4,000 at 25 cents? I mean, I don't know. And by the way, I still have 6 figures of FLR in Celsius. In units, not value. On Celsius. Yeah, so I'll take that. I'll take that. But what's 90% of that 25 cents? What's 95% of 25 cents? What's 98% of 25 cents? Do you understand? Right? Like, I think people, I'm going to have much more FLR, right? Than I have now. I mean, I don't know. I think even if someone's cost basis was 1 cent, right? Iman says he thinks 12 to 20 cents. REI.4 Ray says 20 cents. Like, so I have no clue. We had that 15 cent thing. I mean, I don't know. I have like no idea. All I know is it's 2 cents now. Joe Buddy says 11 cents was my first sell point. I hear you. Rick Cisnero says accumulate 2 million FLR, sell half at 50 cents. Are you talking about accumulating 2 million now or later? Yeah. Joe Buddy says that's why I do a plan. I get to the plan point. I take profits, never selling all. Yeah. Right. So for me, it's going to be 90, 85, 95% of FLR I definitely will sell. There's a cost basis, there's a profit, right? We're in here to take profit. We're not in here to count units. At least for me in the crypto season, I'm not here trying to count the units of what I have. I'm trying to take profit and build wealth because the units, right? You if you don't take it, you don't. It's not realized. It's what they call unrealized profits, right? We don't want that. We certainly don't want round tripping, and I just can't see a scenario where we don't have 90 to 98% retracement in altcoins. I mean, some people are saying, well, we got ETFs. Look, we've had ETFs since the dawn of time, and yet the Nasdaq and the S&P and the other small one, what's the other small one called? I forget. Blockchain Backer talks about it all the time. Russell 2000, right? I mean, don't they still have bear cycles? So I just don't know if that's a feasible strategy to not prepare for the eventual bear cycle. I don't see that as a feasible strategy. So that's what I'm planning on. So, I mean, 95% of 20, I'm doing 25 cents. You guys are saying 20 cents. So, what is 95% of 25 cents? $0.02? Is that 2 cents now? Right? So that's kind of how I see it. And to me, 2 cents in the bear market is look, it's a valuable asset at a discounted price. A valuable asset at a discounted price, not necessarily the cheapest price or the lowest price. It's a valuable asset at a discounted price. I believe that's what FLR will be in the bear market. I'm certainly hoping that that's what FLR will be in the bear market. And I will have significantly more money because I took profit to buy. Iman says price and value are two completely different things. You're correct. Thank you, my friend. So, I mean, that's kind of how I see it. You know, cost basis, you know, for the, well, I don't know if that's cost basis, what they call it, but 006, 007, 008, like it don't matter. Even if it's 1 cent, it, to me, just doesn't. And take the profit, you know, from, let's say it's 1 cent. Take a profit from 1 to 25 cents, 1 to 20 cents. Especially if you have a bear strategy. Especially if you have a bear strategy, it can work out really, really good. Joe says, I believe there will be a bear market. I begin buying back my favorite cryptos when they are 65%. Joe, you got a lot of good strategies right there. 65% is great from all-time high to however low they go under 65%, right? You start DCAing in at 65%. It's a great plan, right? So, right? DCAing in. What does that mean? Well, XRP is going to hit some price. When it gets to 65% from that price as an all-time high price at the end of the cycle, 65% of that, a good strategy might be to begin buying into that asset because it's a valuable asset at a discounted price. You know, people are today for the first time buying Tesla. Today, for the first time, people are buying NVIDIA. For the first time. Are you suggesting that that's not a good purchase? Of course it is. So anyway, that's kind of how I see it. XRP, I'm telling you, if it's in the 90% bucket and it is approaching the max 7. It's right on that line, Joe. Right on that border. Right? And you're getting XRP ETFs and God knows whatever other kind of XRP stuff is going to be coming. We got to check. It's for me, the CAGR and the network adoption is important. That's why Ripple X, they keep getting on there talking about a new thing hopping on the chain. You ever notice that? You ever notice Ripple X here in the last 30, 40 days talking about the new thing hopping on the chain, right? The buying the land, right? That's network adoption. This most recent one was something with private credit with Vert. That's network adoption, going up and to the right of the network adoption curve. That is part of my formula for MAG 7. New wallets, network adoption, new projects hopping on there. Developers, yeah, it's not that easy to develop on that ledger, man. So, but new projects, TVL, sure, cool. But a new thing hopping on there saying, yeah, we trust this thing. Yeah, we trust this thing. And then this thing, the XRPL, gets tested because new stuff is hopping on it. To me, that is part of becoming a Mag 7, right? The underlying asset of the blockchain. For me, that's kind of how I look at it. What's going on, Pookie Pookie? How are you, my friend? That's right, Iman. The bear market is a result of price going way over the mean value. Then it overcorrects to a lower price. Correct. This is exactly right. This is exactly right. That's why our good friend, remember that guy from back in the day, Pookie Pookie? Remember the guy who first uttered the phrase, the value is in the protocol? Yeah. Forget the guy's name. Yeah. So, so no, I just you're okay. You had to look like, is he still talking? So, yeah, yeah. So, what's that guy's name? I forget the guy who said that, who first uttered that phrase. Uh, hold on one second. I think it was Hutchison. Yes, it was Iman. Yeah, Hutchison. I forget his name now. Glenn? Glenn? It might have been Glenn Hutchison. Yeah, thank you. All right, family. So there it is. What's your speculation for the market cap for the entire crypto market when they lower interest rates and start printing all this money? It's a great question, Ray. Great question. Uh, where does Bitcoin get? I mean, I don't know. 10 trill? 10? 10 trillion? I'm thinking something like that. CJ's getting his information from Satoshi Nakamoto. All right, fam. So listen, there it is. Just wanted to have some good back and forth banter about whether or not to sell XRP or borrow against it. I hope it was valuable to you guys. I think, again, a really good strategy to have in your tool belt, or a weapon to have in your tool belt, is the ability to borrow against your asset. This is what the wealthy do. I'm not telling anyone to do or not to do it, but I think it's a great strategy. And for me, since I do think it's a great strategy, I prefer DeFi over TradFi. That's just me. I prefer it for sure. All right, fam. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to hop out of here. I appreciate you guys checking in. Do me a favor. If you didn't get a chance to hit that like button on the way in, please do so on the way out. That'd be super, super awesome if you could do that. We always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. It helps to get the channel out to more people who don't know that it's a new financial system being built right underneath their nose. And we're here to help them. And hopefully they'll get some of that crypto along the way. I appreciate you guys checking in. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to ponder or perhaps consider this: to live your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.